When a man plummeted from James Caan's fire escape in 1993, the police had questions. Caan insisted he barely knew the man and slept through the incident. But one night, he made a chilling confession. Although James Caan is largely known for portraying Italian-American powerhouses, his actual background was starkly different. Born one of 3 siblings to German-Jewish parents in 1940, his start in life was a quiet one. Soon enough, though, he would find adventure. Growing up, Caan made his name in the Bronx by dabbling in some pretty rough hobbies. He took up boxing and earned the nickname Killer Caan. And he's going to need his flair for fighting very soon, even if he didn't yet realize it. At just 16 years old, Caan started attending Michigan State University. There, he discovered a passion for football. Sadly, football didn't love Caan back. Despite all his efforts, he failed to make the team. Floundering, but still a fighter, Caan made a bold move. Giving up on football and Michigan State, Caan decided he needed a fresh start. So he transferred to Hofstra University in New York. This choice began an incredible domino effect that changed his life forever. While studying at Hofstra, he brushed shoulders with Providence when he met aspiring director Francis Ford Coppola. Of course, he didn't know it at the time, but this union was going to change everything. Maybe it was the influence of Coppola, maybe it was something else, but Caan discovered a new goal in life while studying. He took a keen interest in acting. However, before it materialized into something positive, the dream came at a huge cost. His new love was all-encompassing, and as a result, he didn't graduate from Hofstra University. As a silver lining, he didn't seem to mind, because new doors opened instantly. Just before leaving Hofstra, Caan enrolled at New York City's Neighborhood Playhouse School of the Theater. Ultimately, he studied there for 5 years and furthered his love of acting and improv. Outside of his studies, Caan also reached some surprising personal milestones. In 1961, he met actress D.J. Mathis. The two found love and welcomed a daughter, Tara. After years of acting off-Broadway, Caan finally landed his first gig on the coveted stage in 1961, when he starred alongside Peter Fonda in Blood, Sweat, and Stanley Pool. This was a huge breakthrough for Caan. Throughout the 1960s, he actively worked in television and movies. While none of his credits were box office smashes, he started making a name for himself in the industry. But just as his career took off, things were crumbling back at home. As quietly as he married D.J. Mathis years earlier, the couple divorced just as discreetly in 1966. It would be many, many years before Caan got the whole love life thing down. In 1966, while filming The Western El Dorado, Caan had the opportunity to work with movie legend John Wayne. During filming breaks, the pair often enjoyed games of chess, but Caan soon realized that the Duke wasn't quite as friendly as he seemed. According to Caan, the Duke often tried to cheat. Eventually, he got so fed up, Killer Caan resurfaced, and he punched Wayne in a rage. By the late 1960s, Caan's continued lackluster results at the movie box office started to catch up with him. Needless to say, Caan had to switch gears. With reluctance, he began to examine opportunities on the silver screen again. Ironically, his first love of football found him again via a TV movie called Brian's Song. In this role, he played dying football star Brian Piccolo. This was a huge hit for Caan, and he received an Emmy nomination for his performance. His luck was definitely turning, but was it enough to save his career? In 1971, Caan met up with former classmate Francis Ford Coppola. The duo did more than reminisce about their old school days. They joined together for a life-changing collaboration. Coppola cast Caan to star in The Godfather. Originally, Caan was set to play Michael Corleone, the central character in The Godfather. However, neither he nor Coppola was content. They both had their eyes set on a different path for Caan. But there were some barriers standing in the way. Caan knew that he wasn't meant to play Michael Corleone. He wanted to play the hot-headed Sonny Corleone instead. He implored the studio to let him take over the part, but they had already signed another actor to play Sonny. Caan wasn't going to be deterred, and he knew just the man to play Michael instead of him. After testing Al Pacino for the role of Michael Corleone, just about everyone agreed that he was the better casting choice. This meant that with some rearrangements, Caan not only displaced the actor originally signed to play Sonny, but he beat out stellar competition like Robert De Niro for the role. And just like that, he was part of movie history. Despite his enthusiasm to play Sonny, Caan initially struggled to find himself in the role. The anger required in the part wasn't something he felt comfortable expressing. To get into character, he decided to impersonate comedian Don Rickles. He also took it upon himself to complete some extra and controversial homework. While filming The Godfather, Caan went to some dark places. He got friendly with Carmine Persico, head of the notorious Colombo crime family, which turned some heads. So much so that government officials suspected Caan of aspiring to join their nefarious ranks. This ended up having actual consequences, like the time a country club refused Caan membership for fear of his unsavory connections. Caan made some less-than-stellar career moves in the mid-70s. Notably, he turned down the opportunity to star in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Kramer vs. Kramer, and Apocalypse Now. Feeling disheartened by this series of bad decisions and the inevitable acting dry spell that came with it, Caan considered stepping away. As his struggles mounted, he thought an early retirement might be the best plan. Then he made a disturbing discovery that ruled that out. His accountant had embezzled so much money from him. He had no choice but to continue working to pay off his debts. Caan later acknowledged feeling some responsibility for this whole dilemma, as he was struggling with substance abuse at the time and way too under the influence to notice any wrongdoings in the circle around him. While he was on shaky ground professionally and financially, at least his personal life was a bright spot. In 1976, he married Sheila Marie Ryan, and together they had one son, actor Scott Caan. Unfortunately, love wasn't the only thing in the air for Caan. Some demons were still lurking. His happiness was short-lived. The ink on his marriage license was barely dry before divorce came yet again. In the late 70s, his addictions sent him into a dangerous spiral. This took a huge toll on his relationship, and is what he later cited as being a huge reason for his second split. Not ready to give up on partying, though, Caan found a rather unique way of coping with his grief. Not long after his divorce, Caan moved into Hugh Hefner's infamous Playboy mansion. In spite of his wild adventures, he was debatably still a family man at heart. And that made it even more painful in 1982, when his sister Barbara lost her battle with leukemia. Not knowing how to deal with the loss of his sister, Caan turned to the same thing that had helped him cope with divorce: drugs. Sure enough, this excessive partying cost Caan just about everything. He may have been wealthy, but he wasn't able to keep up with the expenses of partying in Hollywood. After losing control, he lost his money, his home, and he owed hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS. Beyond all of that, he lost his passion for acting. As a last-ditch effort to redeem his career, Caan starred in Kiss Me Goodbye in 1982, but he had serious creative differences with director Robert Mulligan. He also credited this movie as being a huge catalyst into his next move, which was quite the pivot away from acting. In the mid-1980s, Caan returned to the world of sports in a whole new way. During a 6-year hiatus from acting, he started to coach boys baseball. The experience was profound, and he saw it as a new outlet for his creativity and passion. Supporting youth also helped him introspect and pay more attention to his son. Caan's son was no doubt influenced by his father's example, good and bad. By the time Scott was 16, he started to get mixed up in some pretty shady scenes. Wanting to shape his son for the better, Caan started to think about how to better his own life. Luckily for him, help came from an unlikely source. His old friendship with Carmine Persico came in handy while he was looking to grow and heal. He connected with Persico's cousin, Andrew Russo, who directed him toward the best rehab facilities in the country. Thanks to that support, Caan began attempting to recover from his long-standing substance abuse. During an attempt to re-enter the world of acting, Caan was the first choice to star in Spaceballs. But because of his erratic history and unpredictability, he was too expensive to insure. Thus the role went to Bill Pullman, and once again Caan was out in the cold. During the early 90s, in the midst of his recovery, James Caan landed big roles in two notable hits. He played central characters in both Misery and Honeymoon in Vegas, both of which made him a household name again. In order to land the part in Misery, director Rob Reiner really had to vouch for Caan. The part was originally slated for Warren Beatty, who backed out at the last minute. After convincing the studio to take a chance on Caan, Reiner was surprised to see that even Caan himself shared some reluctance over his ability to perform well. For Caan, the idea of filming a movie that required him to lay in bed for most of his scenes was excruciating. It was a far cry from his more active roles of the past, but Reiner knew what he was doing. The director capitalized on Caan's frustration and helped him channel it into the role, which in turn made for an epic comeback. There is just one little thing. I can't work on this paper. Caan was no stranger to keeping his private life private, and that's exactly what he did yet again in 1990 when he married Ingrid Hayek. It was no secret that during his past life, Caan liked the ladies, but what's unclear is how much he entertained them while married. In 1992, Hollywood Madam Heidi Fleisch reported that she was romantically involved with Caan while he was married. For his part, he denied the rumors. Regardless, there was trouble brewing at home. In 1994, Caan and Hayek parted ways for good, and there was definitely no shortage of headlines when it came to Caan around this period. Relapses, brush-ups, unsolved mysteries. He was always in the wrong place at the wrong time. Around the time of his divorce, Caan met some unique characters. One such person was Mark Alan Schwartz, a young West Hollywood man who became mysteriously acquainted with Caan. Late one night, Schwartz tried to awaken Caan in hopes of gaining entry to the building where the actor was staying. However, Caan failed to wake up, so Schwartz attempted to climb 8 stories up the fire escape. Then, tragedy struck. Schwartz plummeted fatally in the process. After the tragedy surrounding Schwartz, the authorities had some questions for Caan about that night and about his relationship with Schwartz. He stated that aside from being casual acquaintances, they had no deeper connection. He also maintained that he slept through the entire episode, and ultimately, he faced no charges for the incident. But he wasn't in the clear with the law entirely. After his divorce from Hayek, Caan was back on the dating scene with a woman named Lisa Rowland. As usual, their relationship made the news for all the wrong reasons. In 1994, Rowland accused Caan of physically assaulting her shortly after allegedly telling her that he knew more about what happened to Schwartz. To retaliate, Rowland sued Caan, and after some back and forth, the two reached a settlement that involved him paying her $86,000. He was never convicted of any wrongdoing against Rowland, but in the same year, he found himself at the heart of yet another storm. Later that year, Caan pulled a gun on rapper Derek Lee during a public dispute. The authorities arrived on the scene and threw Caan in cuffs. When the dust settled, he faced up to 6 months behind bars. However, those charges were ultimately dropped. After all of this continued turmoil in his personal life, Caan very wisely decided to re-enter rehab and focus again on himself. In 1995, he married Linda Stokes, and the couple went on to have 2 sons, James and Jacob. Caan opted to live a quieter existence with Linda and his sons in the late 90s, so he packed up and moved to a cabin in Utah. But after just 2 years, he felt his career start to dry up again. He said that, when it came to Hollywood, absence does not make the heart grow fonder, they just think you're dead. Upon relocating back to LA, Caan starred in 4 movies, one right after the other, and an NBC hit drama. Once again, he proved to audiences why he was a legend in the business. He continued to work actively all throughout the 2000s. There was more controversy in 2016 when he vocalized some political opinions. He openly stated his disapproval of President Barack Obama's 2 terms, and threw his support behind Donald Trump. In the land of Hollywood, this may not have gone over well with everyone, but Caan didn't let that stop him. In fact, he said he wanted everyone to know that there was a whole bunch of actors who are conservative. Maybe his political views had nothing to do with the divorce from Stokes, but just a year after he made headlines for airing his conservative ideals, the two parted ways. To be fair, this was Caan's longest marriage. While marriage clearly wasn't his forte, Caan remained loyal to one thing in life. For almost 30 years, he practiced martial arts and was a karate master. He credited his practice for carrying him through difficult times and poor health. In 2022, at the age of 82, Caan succumbed to a fatal heart attack. This is when his family revealed that he'd been suffering from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and congestive heart failure at the time of his death. Following his passing, dozens of icons paid tribute to him. Francis Ford Coppola, Barbra Streisand, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and Kathy Bates are only a few of the names that came out to honor Caan and the impact he made in film. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more videos.